Hey, what's going on, guys? So recently I have taken a look back at a couple of different P-Bandai Master Grade Crossbone releases, the X2, the X2 Custom, and the X3, but there's another Crossbone kit that I never checked out upon its original release just a few years ago, I guess 2018, so more than a few years ago, not at this point, but the SDCS Crossbone X1 kit here. So the SD Cross Silhouette line is a line that I actually really quite like. These are, in my opinion, basically like the best SD kits that you can get, aside from maybe like Master Grade SD, but I think that's kind of more Master Grade than SD. But I don't know, what do you guys think about that? Anyway, the Crossbone X1, really cool design. Everybody loves the Crossbone, and so let's go ahead in today's video, check it out here in SDCS form. So before we get into the contents inside, just to check out the box, and if you guys are unfamiliar with this line, some of these include the Cross Silhouette frame, some of them do not. This is one of the ones that does not include the Cross Silhouette frame, so if you want that, if you want like the little bit larger proportions, you're gonna have to buy that separately, so that's why this is in this smaller size box and very low price point for this. But some really cool artwork of the Crossbone there in SD proportions for the front box art. And on the front, you can see this is going back to all the way to number 2 in the lineup, and it looks pretty nice there. Now on the bottom of the box, we can see some of the gimmicks here. So we'll have different options for the eyes. Typically, the more kind of traditional Gundam eyes are used for when you're using it with the CS frame. The cutesy SD style eyes are for when you have it in like the SD form, but it's really up to you. You can choose. We've got some weapons gimmicks here. The face parts do open up, and then here's a bit about choosing which frame you want to go with. For that, not only will you have a little bit larger proportions, but a little bit more in terms of the articulation if you go for the CS frame. So that's typically what I prefer, but it just kind of depends on what you want the kit to do, how you want the kit to look. And then here's a little bit more about the kit over here on this side, how it's going to look completely unpainted, just snap built straight out of the box like that. And from there, we can open this up and see how it looks inside. Gonna have just a couple of runners, basically for the armor and weapons. And then the SD frame will be one of those runners there as well. We've got our instructions here. Now on the instructions, you can see how this is going to look with the SD frame. There in the background is with the Cross Silhouette frame. Again, there's a bit of information, and everything in here is in Japanese and in English, looks like. And here at the bottom, you can see some of the other kits available in the line at the time. Obviously, we have a lot more now, but there's the RX-782 Gundam, the Nightingale, and then it looks like that's pretty much it. Everything else is just construction for the kit. So the last page here in color is just kind of a bit about some of the features and the weapons. But then if you guys have never built one of these kits before, you can see there's our parts list as well. The construction kind of follows 2 tracks. So depending on whether you're building it with the SD frame, then you'll follow the track above. If you're building it with the Cross Silhouette frame, then you'll follow the track below. So the construction is going to be slightly different depending on which frame you're using for this, and that continues on to like this last part right here. And then the head is going to be the same regardless. You can just choose what you want for the eyes. The backpack is right there. And while we certainly don't have as many stickers as you might have in some of the other SD lines, the Cross Silhouette kits do still have some stickers, as you can see on this sticker sheet here, just for a handful of little details, including the eyes there, of course. But there's our foil sticker sheet. And so getting into the runners here, runner A1 is going to be our SD frame runner here. This is going to be shared between any of the kits in this line. This time it just happens to be white. But then runners B1 and B2 also in white here, going to be all of our white armor pieces, including some weapons parts and things like that on here on the B1 and B2 runners. Then on runners is C1 and C2, we have multicolored runners here with red, navy blue, yellow, and like a very dark gray, almost black color there. On runners C2, similarly, red, navy blue, and yellow on here. And that's it for all of the runners. Let's go ahead and check out the kit. All right, and so here is the kit all built up, and only with the stickers on the eyes. The other stickers I haven't put on here yet because I was building this up and I was thinking like, it's not a new kit by any means. So we'll go through the review process for this, normally kind of very briefly and just kind of talk about the kit and what's included here a little bit. And then I thought it'd be nice to just actually spend a little bit of time, actually detailing this up a little bit with a little bit of panel lining, a little bit of painting on there, maybe some top coat just to make it look a little bit nicer without going, the full 9 yards and painting the whole thing entirely, but just clean it up a little bit just to make it look nicer. I thought that'd be kind of nice to do for this video. So let's go ahead and start off just by taking a brief look at what you're going to get with the kit, just straight out of the box without doing anything else to it, and then we'll make it look a little bit nicer. So like I said, I've only got the stickers on here for the cute eyes, but you do also have stickers for the angry eyes here as well, and it's pretty easy to swap that Here inside the head, it's basically made up of a couple of parts, like the lower part of the head. The eyes part, you're just gonna turn around to the other side, so the other sticker would go on this side. And it also features a little bit extra detail there around the bottom that the cute SD side does not have. But with either side, you can have the gimmick of the opening mouth here. There's no sticker for that, unfortunately, for the gold, so definitely gonna have to paint that in with some gold. And this part just fits up into the head there like that. There are stickers for the like kind of red marks here on the side of the face. We also have stickers for these small circle yellow details here on the front of the shoulders and for around on the cuffs. Those are meant to be like dark navy and then red stripes around there. You have stickers for the red stripes, but if you want it to be color accurate, there is also meant to be kind of either like dark gray or dark navy bands there around this raised detail on the forearm as well. Obviously then the hands are also not in the correct color, so we'll go ahead and put some gray paint on those. The decoration here on the front of the chest, also we've got a sticker for that, and this front part here on the front of the skirt, the center part's supposed to be red. You do have a sticker for that, and then you have stickers for the little yellow vents on the sides of the knees here as well. But that's it for what would be covered by stickers. There's a lot of other details that there aren't stickers for. For example, the little yellow vents here on the backpack, there's 2 of those on each of these arms of the backpack here. And for example, here on the leg, this section here on the top of the foot, on the front of the ankle armor, and on the front of the knee, there's little bits that are supposed to be in like a dark gray there as well. So obviously being a small, simple SD kit, it's not going to be completely color accurate out of the box, but we'll see how much of that we can fix up later on. That said, it's not going to be too much better when it comes to the weapons as well. So we've got the pistol here. This is 2 halves, and there will be a seam line down the middle of that. You also have the sword handle, which can just be held this way, and then our effect part for that, which is obviously in the wrong color here, just being molded all in solid white. That's going to plug into there like that and can be used as a sword. Alternatively, we can, of course, connect these parts together and like so turn this into the beam rifle like that, which I definitely like, so that looks really cool. But either way, these weapons are just going to be popped down into the hands here, as these are the only hand options that we have. Now other hand options are available in different sets, but as far as just what you get in the box, all you get here is just these weapon holding hands like so. The articulation is going to be pretty limited, obviously, with this just being an SD, and although it is improved if you have the cross silhouette frame in there, just with the regular SD frame in here, it's going to be pretty minimal as far as what you can really do with moving these parts around. The legs tend to pop out of the ball joint here very easily, so something you may want to look into, maybe just gluing those in place if you're not planning on moving this around a lot. Like even here on the back, these parts move here like this, very cool. You do have the little bits of like hollow gaps on the back side of these white parts here on the backpack. Underside of the feet, you've got a pretty good amount of detail with a little bit of hollow gap in there, but overall, honestly, like a pretty nicely detailed little kit here. And even if you were to do nothing with it here, like for example, I've only got the sticker there for the eyes. I mean, it's not a bad looking kit. It definitely has a lot of details that you can see are just kind of missing on there with them not being colored in the correct colors, but you could add the rest of the stickers on there and I think it would be looking pretty decent. But I think what we're gonna do with this is actually do a little bit of panel lining, a little bit of sanding on here first. I think I want to also sharpen up the V-fin, but mainly focus on just kind of bringing out the details with some panel lining, and then also just a little bit of detail painting to maybe not make it, 100% color accurate like as to how it's supposed to be in the manga, but at least a little bit more color accurate than what we have straight out of the box. Overall though, just with what you get, I do still think that the cross silhouette line is Bandai's best line of SD kits, definitely better than the SDEX kits just because they don't have so many hollow gaps in there, a little bit better articulation, and especially a lot better articulation if you were to put the cross silhouette frame into this. And I believe, at least here at the USA Gundam Store, we're all sold out of all the cross silhouette frames, unfortunately. And that is something that I wish that Bandai would have included in all the kits from the start, because some of the kits in this line do include both frames and some of them don't. I understand the idea is to keep the cost low, and so they don't include that with all of their kits. And then it's also something that can just be sold separately. But for now, for the Crossbone, not including that, it's something that I would recommend getting just because I think that not only does the cross silhouette frame add more articulation, but it also makes the proportions slightly less SD, still very much SD, but I think I just personally like the proportions better when it has the cross silhouette frame in there. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, but let's go ahead and do a little bit of work on this. So I started off painting in some of the missing color apps, just using some SMS lacquer paints, just hand brushing those in, and just remember guys, painting yellow or red over the top of that dark blue. I painted some white first, and then the yellow and red on top of that just to make sure those colors were nice and bright. Then went over everything with some panel lining. Typically I would not use black on top top of white like this, and I would use brown on top of the yellow and red areas, but I just used black for everything, just because that seems to be what they use for like the box art, and it did look pretty good for this kit. Usually using black on white is just like too stark for me. I don't really like it. But lastly then, I was on the fence about this, but I did decide to go ahead and add some decals on this. I wasn't sure if I really wanted to or not, but I thought it would look good with a few decals here and there, so I went ahead and added those on as well. Then gave it a nice coating of spray can matte top coat to finish it off, set it up on this little wood block base, and here's the finished result. It looks so much better than it did, of course, without any work done. And this was a little bit of work, but I mean, for not painting the entirety of the kit, it was a fairly simple, quick little process. Just kind of took, basically one afternoon's worth of work on this, but it was a fun little process, and it looks so much better than it did before. So it just kind of goes to show how it doesn't take a whole lot of work to really improve the look of these kits. Just a few basic steps, a little bit of detail painting, a little bit of panel lining, a little bit of decals, some top coat, and here's how it's going to turn out. So really cool little kit. It definitely looks a lot better now than it did before, but you guys can see the potential there where, if you were to fully paint the kit and you could customize it, you could turn it into, by doing some more kit bashing or mixing and matching, you could turn it into one of the other Crossbone variants. And even though I said I do really prefer the look of these kits with the cross silhouette frame to give it a little bit longer proportions, it does look really good here like this, and just would make for a great little display piece, especially if you're a fan of the Crossbone. And the same thing goes for the other mobile suits in the line if you're a fan of the RX-78-2 or the Nightingale or any of the other releases in the line. It's a great series of SD kits, and I hope that Bandai will continue to make some more in this line going forward. But that's about it for this video, guys. Hope that you enjoyed taking a look at this one. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Are you a fan of the SD Cross Silhouette line, or what do you think of them? Do you have a favorite in the line? Let me know in the comment section. And if you guys want to check out some more for yourself, you can check the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. We've got lots of great stuff there on the website, gunpla, paints, tools, and supplies, and everything else there, so check that out. And as always, thanks so much for all of your support. Leaving a like if you enjoyed the video, making sure that you're subscribed if you're not subscribed yet, and until next time, I hope you guys are all having a great day. See y'all later. Bye, guys.